Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmond, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Hello.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Nick is having a little bit of technical problems, but he'll join us. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. All right. We're into the show. The what?
All right.
All right. So what's going on?
Matthew McConaughey. All right.
Hey, we got Nick.
You made it. Hello,
Not
Nick.
yet.
Hello.
Did you go to Walmart and picked up a virtual camera?
Oh, you're hilarious.
What do you mean? Okay, explain. What do you mean virtual camera? You have one camera, right?
Yeah, but I use vMix for my camera for Zoom, and I could not get my virtual camera to work.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Hi. Did you find out why?
Nope.
Or it just worked? Okay.
Nope.
All right.
Repaired Zoom and did a Windows restart, and now we're here.
All right.
Because it worked on everything else, worked in Skype, just could not get it in Zoom.
Maybe
Happy Father's Day to everybody.
Skype.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Wow, Gal sounds way different. That's cool.
Do you see why?
Yeah, I do see why.
Went yesterday. Amnon gave us the arm and finally hooked up the microphone. And it is indeed, I sound radiophonic.
There you go. Nice.
He had some problems with sound meter.
Hey.
What?
Nobody has any problems here.
But
I was tweaking.
Yeah. We got it to run. Voice meter. So voice meter has a gate built in. I mean, just
Yes.
Same as what I would use with that DBX, huh?
Yeah, but the quality of the gate is not the same by any stretch.
When you say quality, what is their quality? It just opens and closes. I mean, I'm not talking about the preamp and all that. I'm talking about...
Yeah, but I mean, the way that a gate expands and contracts is very different. I mean, if you use different kinds of gates, you can hear the gate open and close. I mean, I'm not saying that the voice meter gate sucks. That's not what I'm saying. But the reason that the DBX gates are so and by the way, we're talking about a microphone gate that you put on your microphone to open and close. Well, it's a gate. It opens and closes the signal. So you don't hear it. If you buy like a cheap gate off Amazon, you can almost hear it open and close.
I see. Yeah, but he was concerned because we could hear him type.
Yeah.
And he finally got the gate to the point that it doesn't open the gate, which is nice.
Don't forget to close the gate after you leave, though.
Yeah.
What? Scott?
I mean, now I can disregard the show and do whatever, and nobody knows.
Right. Now you need one that will open and close your camera.
What you need to do is write something that records like 3 minutes of you sitting there and just loops it until you come back. So you can go off and, get some coffee and sit outside.
I actually did that in a Zoom meeting. I did a screen grab. There was like 30 something people in there. So I don't think anybody caught me, but I did I was sitting there and I was, I made a nice face, something a little bit like this. And then all of a sudden I look like this for a period of time. And then eventually I tried matching it. It was like, oh, I don't know what happened there. My camera must have froze.
Oh, it's froze. I had a problem. It froze. I fixed it.
Yeah, my camera froze.
Isn't
Sorry.
good enough?
No.
This isn't good enough?
No, because if you do that, if your video is on and then you go to that, then they're like, look at this SOB. He's, walking away. So in my case, I'm sure somebody caught me.
It would.
But that's a good idea. I'm going to use that.
Yeah. I mean, just buy vMix. It's only like $400 and you can do it. It's not that bad.
I'm wondering if.
No, you don't need vMix. All you need is just to capture once the camera.
Oh, yeah, but it's a lot easier to do, I should say.
It would be nice.
Maybe.
If it would be nice if you start the conference and recorded 15 minutes of it when you're not talking, but you are moving. And then you play that and you're still moving and you're doing stuff, but you're not talking.
Yeah, but that requires you to have to be there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Which you don't
So, yeah. No, we can't do that. We can't do that.
That's a good idea. I'm going to try that next time.
Look, we're all, how shall I say, nerds, right? And one of the common grounds for nerds, right, is we are willing to go the length to show how lazy we are, right? So
Correct.
Investing 15 minutes in order to, not be in an actual meeting for 15 minutes, it makes sense.
Yeah, for all I know, the way that Nick is, he will record an hour and he will write a batch file that will automate it. He will not even show to the meeting. It'll start it at the right time. It'll show himself and everything, and at the end he'll hang up and that's it. And he's actually playing Fortnite. I don't know.
Fortnite? What are you, 11?
Nobody plays Fortnite today.
Oh,
that's not true. Actually, I played it a couple times this past week.
So Gal came by yesterday, like he said, and he installed some more software on that Plex.
Oh, let's hear it, Gal.
Well, I just set up the OS. I'm gonna finish the setup today.
Remotely.
How many channels did you get?
4. The one with the 4.
No, what I mean, the antenna. How many did it pick?
Oh, it ended up with 36, and I'm not sure that because I was getting everything, and I was thinking, well, maybe I'm wrong thinking that it was 40 some. It's 36.
Well, 36 is almost 40, so.
Yeah, it's everything. It seems like there was
everything that you need. If you get what you need, then that's what's important.
Yeah, and it seems like there was a channel there. I can hardly believe it. There was a channel that I've never seen on cable. And when I went through it, it had Bewitched. And I said, what the hell? I've never seen that in the evening on Saturday. And I don't remember which channel it was, but I ended up hanging it on the ceiling on one of the cables, kind of like in the center of the room. So that's where it did it the best. But
well, it's probably not something you can leave that way.
I can.
You'll need to.
No,
yeah, it's a good place.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Then I thought about it. I said, well, I could have put it even farther out, but because it's connected to the TV now, the cable is not long enough. But once I have it connected to the home run, it's Ethernet to the hub. I can put it anywhere as long as I have Ethernet, right?
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
The antenna still hooks to the.
I know, but if I take the
Oh,
antenna
you're talking about the home run itself.
itself can be
Gotcha. Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, it can be anywhere.
So we'll see.
So did you use the home run?
Not yet. It's still in the
Oh.
box. Still in the box. If I don't know. I mean, if I take the home run out and connect it to the antenna and hook the home run to the TV, will it just
You don't hook it to
work?
the TV. You hook it to the internet.
No.
That's
It'll
right.
get a
so
Home
stat.
run,
It'll get
you
a-
need an
so that's going to
application.
be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need.
Well,
an
you can also
application.
watch it. It's got a browser-based thing. You can browse
Yeah.
to the
Well.
IP address of it. I think.
Yeah.
That TV, that new monitor in the office monitor TV came handy to test with.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, it's interesting because what you guys were saying that newer TVs have better tuner. In the living room, if I started if you're watching and you take the antenna and you move it, bam, it starts pixelating and freezes and everything. Over here, I could pick it up, move it, and it's still solid. So that was interesting too.
Well, so it's a kind of a double-edged sword. Newer TVs, depending on the brand you buy,
Mhm.
probably have better tuners. But if you're going to now you have like what, a 5 or 6 year old Samsung
No, the one. Oh, you mean in the living room? Yeah.
in the living room?
Yeah.
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 That 5 or 6 year old Samsung has probably got a better tuner than like the,
The cheap.
$249 Walmart special. If I had to guess, I have no evidence to back it up, but I would assume if you go the cheapest bottom of the barrel TV,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably not going to have it'll still have a good tuner because they're only so bad. But if you have a nice Samsung or an LG or a Sony that's a couple years old, it's probably got an equivalent tuner to like a Hisense or
Yeah, I don't remember what TV this is.
trying to think what's the other brand, Hisense and TLC. My Vizio's got a pretty crappy tuner in it. I'm not super happy with it.
An Element TV
Element, yes.
or a what's the other brand that's out there? I bought it. It's really
Hisense,
weird,
Element,
something like that. Yeah, I bought a TV at Walmart was $79 for 32-inch TV. No smart TV, but I got a Fire Stick. Well, I ordered something. I'm going to try to put some additional storage on my Fire Stick. I have one of the USB adapters for an inline SD card.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm going to try that because I have my Fire Stick and there's so little storage on it. I can't side load anything because I don't have enough space to unpack something and archive. So I'm going to do this to see if it makes it a little easier because I want to side load the Spectrum app into the Fire Stick. Yeah.
The Spectrum app isn't on the Fire Stick?
Nope.
Why?
Good question.
No
That's
room.
that's retarded. That doesn't make any
I know,
sense.
it's not there.
at all.
It does not show up in the Amazon store.
Oh, I remember that because I tried side loading and it was a huge pain in the ass.
It is. I got close.
Yeah.
I was able to. I got the archive tool and I got the file manager and all that to work fine. But I ran out of space. Because you can get the image for this from another company that has they have what basically their own proprietary side load. You have to take that image that they give you. That's a special. It's got additional information in it that I don't want, but you have to use their method, and that's what killed me because there was no way for me to unpack it.
Yeah, and the way that you actually do it is you're actually going to be loading the phone version of the app on the Fire TV.
That's right. Yep.
The issue I had, now hopefully this has changed, is that I could not type on the keyboard. Hopefully they've changed that. I could not put in my account.
You can always hook up a USB keyboard.
You could, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
But-
Couldn't do that.
Well, that's what I'm hoping with this
there is-
adapter I bought.
Well, try instead of a file manager and a downloader, try installing sideloading Aptoid.
Aptoid?
It's it's like
It's like a disease.
a third party store that you can use also on Android. And I think they have a version called Aptoid TV, which is excellent for sideloading Android TV applications.
So what is the one
Maybe
that
Spectrum
actually
has an
has
Android TV.
they have files, and it's a special file extension, and it contains they say additional information about the app, and that's the only thing I could find with the Spectrum app that was
APK.
I can't I have to go back. I have to go back and look at my Fire Stick and see what it's called. But
Well, you don't live in Android, right?
No, I'm a yeah.
So Android applications, their extension is APK.
Well, this was not an APK, unfortunately.
Okay.
The APK installer was embedded inside this larger file, but they said, "Oh, we give you all these extra extensions that help install the file." But the only way it could work is with their tool. So I just ran out of storage. I could not download their version of the APK and the installer together. Even though I deleted a lot of apps just so I could do it. It was frustrating.
Okay, so
yeah,
let me do a quick crash course about Android and the ecosystem it lives in. So when a manufacturer creates an Android device, what it does is if they manufacture it and they install the Google Android OS, they also sign an agreement with Google that they cannot create any other device with a fork of the Android OS. Okay, so they must adhere to Google's ecosystem of apps. Now, they signed that in order to install what's called the Google Services Suite. That's the Play Store, Google Maps, all of the APIs that Google provide on top of Android. Amazon, they manufacture their own their own brand of Android. And so they are not allowed to install any of these Google ecosystem systems applications. And what happens is the lazier, and that's most, it's not like it's not a critique of the developers themselves. The developers, they just go and they use the Android Studio from Google with all of the APIs already hooked up. And so when they design something, they're calling the Google specific APIs most of the time for the complex stuff. And I'm guessing that's what happened with the Spectrum app. That probably requires all of the Android Google suite as the layer that it relies on. And that's why you need to sideload so many things into something like the Fire TV, which is an Android basically, but without the, it's like Windows without .NET, something like that. So probably need the higher memory versions of the Fire TV.
There is I was looking, they have the Fire TV, they have the Fire TV 4K, and then they have another one that's the most expensive one. It was $99, and it has some recording capability, I think.
No, that's more. That's around 200, I think.
Well, it's something I saw for $99.
Talking about the box.
Yeah, the box. Or maybe it was just I don't remember. I was just looking through the different versions.
Yeah, the box hooks up to, the box has echo listening on, so you can speak with it.
Maybe that's it. And a speaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I bought was the USB adapter plus a Ethernet converter / USB hub that comes as a kit. It was inexpensive, and so I'm going to try that and see what happens.
Yeah, it'll work. I have something. I had something like that hooked up.
Amnon, what home run did you buy?
What do you mean? What?
Which version of it?
It's the 4 tuners.
4 tuner?
Yeah.
With no storage or it has
storage.
storage? No storage.
Let me ask you this, Spence.
Yes,
Why
sir.
are you going with Fire TVs?
Because I had one.
Okay, because I
And
mean,
I have 2 Rokus. One Roku is so old it takes forever to load, but it still works. And it has the composite video out, which is the reason why I have it. Because for a while, until I bought that new 32-inch TV, the TV I was using was an old CRT.
Yeah,
a 20-inch TV.
The new, well, not the new Roku, but the Roku Ultra, which is 4K, is only $87. So I mean, I'm gonna be, not that I don't like the Fire TV, but it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? The Fire TV, you can do things with side loading, but in the same vein, it doesn't have a lot of. It doesn't.
You're saying
What?
Fire TV. I think he said Fire Stick. 2 different things, right?
No, they're the same thing.
No, it's the same thing. It's just different
versions,
hardware versions of it.
Yeah.
I
So the question is
bought
the
it.
apps.
I originally bought it to use in the. I have a TV in my office that I was trying to get rid of the Spectrum box.
Gotcha.
So I'm thinking, I'll just load the Spectrum app on the Fire TV and I'll use that and I can return that box. And it didn't work. So then I sat on the shelf for 6 months until I bought that television. And then I said, well, I'm going to try to figure out how to do this. So it's really just a challenge now. I'm going to try to get it to work inexpensively to dabble. But yeah, I think the best thing I could get right now would be a Roku.
Yeah. So, because I'm going to be in the market for a couple of other streaming devices, and the Roku obviously is a closed infrastructure, but it just seems
but still, they've done their work to make sure that things work.
Yeah,
which is nice.
For $87 on Amazon. I don't know if this isn't the top of the line one, but it's the 2018. It says it does HD, 4K, and HDR. I mean, I don't know how. I've got a Roku 3 right now, and it shows its age. It's slower. And then they've got some new ones. They've got a small one called the Roku Express. It's $26. I don't know what the hell this thing does.
If you're in the market, check out the TiVo 4K, because that looks like a real challenger for the Roku and the
expensive.
Fire TV. No,
$170.
No.
Oh, okay.
40 or $50.
What was it again?
For TiVo Stream 4K.
TiVo. Yeah, I wondered if they were going to re-engineer themselves.
Stream 4K.
49
What, on Amazon?
on their site.
Oh, on their site. Okay, yeah, they must not be selling it on Amazon. So what does this device do? Okay.
Yeah,
This is a
smart
Roku
TV.
or it's a smart TV adapter. And
What kind of apps does it have?
pretty much the same as Roku and the others.
TiVo Stream
But
K.
they have a unique feature where when you search for the content by name, you're searching for a TV show, for example, then it opens up the page for the TV show and shows you which of the services you can play it on.
Yeah. The Roku does that as well, I believe.
I think the Roku has something similar.
Yeah.
What TiVo does, what draws me to it, I haven't bought one yet, I'm planning on, is It includes search result from Plex.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It looks like it's got the Google Home Assistant built in. By looking at the remote, it's got the Google button.
Yeah, they're hooked up to the Google ecosystem for an assistant.
Oh, that's cool, actually.
If you
have
don't,
some Google
if you don't log
automation
in,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
But it's by choice, right? People, when they see this button, they sometimes get a jerk reaction. It's not mandatory, and that's what's nice.
So what operating system are their apps? Is it their own proprietary or?
Yeah, it's their own marketplace. One of the cool things though that this thing does that the Roku doesn't is the Roku is not a Chromecast. Now you can cast things to it. So for example, if you're on YouTube on your laptop and you want to watch that on your Roku, you can do that, but you can't cast your desktop. It's not a Chromecast in the literal sense of it. So, well, depending on what you're trying to do, I'm positive.
I'm pretty sure everything today has some sort of Miracast. Windows can cast itself.
It probably can to it, but I'm saying the Chromecast ability isn't there. There's probably a way to do it.
My Vizio TV will let me cast directly to it.
That's what I use on mine because I have a Vizio as well, and it works pretty. Yeah. It works now. Right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That TV that I have, the Vizio TV, has a Roku. It has a Chromecast. It has a Blu-ray player. So I have 4 different ways to watch apps on that television.
Yeah,
the embedded ones in each of those 3 devices has their own.
Yeah,
so it gets confusing at times.
Alan is asking, how do you sideload on a Roku?
You don't is the answer. They've got a.
But you played with it, no?
Yeah, well, so there's a couple things you can do. So there's a kind of private app store thing that they have, but you can't really sideload things. It's been a little while since I've looked at it, but as of a couple years ago, there was a way to add private channels, which are the equivalent of sideloading. But unlike the Fire TV, you have to build the apps from scratch. You can't just load an Android app. The reason the sideloading on the Fire TV is cool is because there's already pre-built apps. A developer would have to go in, build their own app, and then it's not going to get accepted into the store if it's a sideloaded app. It's just a lot of work for not a lot of use, in my opinion.
But we like pain.
Yeah, if you want pain, go get a Roku.
Hey, pain is what it's all about. I haven't lived until you've agonized over something to try to get it to work.
Yeah, they're called private channels. And there's some stuff on there, but there's nothing great.
Before you got here earlier, Nick, I was saying how my Western Digital cloud drive croaked. It was last week it started to act weird. It went offline, and I went through and I did a hard reset, and it came back for a while, and then you try to do something and it would freeze, or the functions would go away, and I tried to run it just got real weird. The longer I played with it, the weirder it got. So now it's finally dead. I think it's the drive. I think the drive is shot. It's a Western Digital Red 3 terabyte drive. And I went through I was going to say, well, if I buy another drive, there is a set of instructions on there, how to find the image and create an image, and you can have a bigger drive than what it came with. And I said, no, I don't think it was worth it. So I was going to build a new, very high capacity USB 3 caddy based drive, buy a good, Western Digital Red or something like that. So I was at Costco yesterday, and they had an 8 terabyte Seagate 3.5-inch USB drive for $119.
Damn.
Yeah, I was wondering if have you pulled one of those apart, Gal? Is that a standard SATA interface, or just that proprietary stuff?
Which one? Western Digital?
Western Digital 8 terabyte.
Yeah,
standard,
regular. Yeah, check Reddit with the model number. You'll see people shucking them left and right.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I have it hooked up to my other TP-Link router in the USB port, and I'm running backups across the network already with it, and it's fast. I'm amazed at how fast it is.
I'm amazed that the USB interface isn't bottleneck.
No, that's what I'm so
surprised on the
surprised at.
TP-Link.
Yeah, that's what I'm surprised at. It's fast. I used Aomi backupper just as a first because I had it on that computer, and I just let me just use that. I set it up for quick backup, and I let it run, and the whole thing ran. I forgot how many gigabytes it was, 25 gig. It was done within like less than 2 hours. I thought was good. So I have so many different backup strategies, and I think that's probably good.
So you were talking about Chromecasting and all that. There's also something else about the new Windows 10. A new feature in Windows 10 might allow Google to streamline Chrome. And it's known that it works because Microsoft is already using it. According to Microsoft, its recent update implemented a new memory management feature in Edge known as Segment Heap. In the latest version of Windows, developers can opt into Segment Heap to lower the RAM usage of a program. Microsoft says it's already added support to the new Edge browser, and it has seen a 27% drop in the browser's memory footprint. So in the new Windows 10, there is, it's not something that we can use or turn off and on. It's for a developer to use it, and then the application that they developed is going to take advantage of it. I know it's got nothing to do with casting and stuff, but it's Windows 10 and Google. Chrome is hell. I haven't used it. I haven't used it in a long time, but I remember it was hell as far as using memory and resources, and it gets slower and slower.
The only reason I still have it running is just because I have it on an HDMI switch, so it doesn't really impact anything. And when Eve comes by, Eve is a Android person, so she uses it to put stuff up on the TV. So, I know if she's been here because I have to go switch the HDMI switch back to the Roku.
And you can't do that with anything else? Like, what do you mean?
No, it's just very easy for her because it's native.
Okay.
There's no. I have an app on my phone that will stream to the Chromecast. It's not a Google app. It's a third-party app that lets me the full feature set that you have with Android, where I can send stuff to it, send stuff to Chrome, my screen, a video, whatever, and then control it from the phone. It's actually pretty good, but it's out there, so it works. But I don't have to do that anymore. I can just send it directly from Apple. Has the built-in support. Oh, by the way, I ordered a new phone for Pam. I got her the new $399 iPhone.
iPhone 17.
Huh?
iPhone 17.
Yeah, 17. 17 XL, X17 XL 500Z. No, it's the new version of the what was the low cost one again? I can't remember the name, but it's
low cost. They add C.
Right? Yeah, the 64 gig. And it's got
you get it with a shattered screen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, pre-shattered. Yeah.
It's called the iPhone Poor. That's how Apple describes it. Their own thing. That's how they describe it.
It has an aluminum body. It's got it's the same A13 processor. It's probably not the same.
It is exactly the same. Yeah,
it's exactly the same. Hey, well, there you go.
Yep.
So Pam's still running on a 5S, and lately it's been the call quality and the dropouts have gotten to the point where she can't even, I can sit there next to her. I'm on my phone and everything is fine. She's on her phone and calls drop and she's getting all kinds of weird stuff. So I know
That sounds like blasphemy. You're saying that an Apple phone is crap?
Well, a 7-year-old one is.
No, that can't be. They preserve their value for eternity. Come on.
I'm running into the planned obsolescence on my phone, and I'm not super happy about it, but my battery life is shot.
Hey, I replaced what phone do you have?
The 8 something.
I replaced it on my old 5S. It was not that hard to do.
Yeah.
And there's an outfit I bought the battery from, comes with an excellent kit. Comes with all the little tools you need to open it up. You use a hair dryer to loosen the glue with the battery so you can get and pull it apart.
I don't have a hair dryer.
You don't have a hair dryer. Oh,
that's his problem.
I have one.
He doesn't have a home.
I do, but I have a heat gun, so I think I'll be fine.
Oh, be careful though, because you'll melt the.
Yeah. I don't have a hair dryer.
I have a heat gun too, but the hair dryer worked great.
I don't have a hair dryer, I don't have a hair dryer or an ironing board. Actually, fun fact.
I have a hair dryer in my work truck because there are times when I need to warm something up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep a flare if I ever need to warm something up.
I've been cleaning my garage. I actually found a package of 3 car flares.
Oh, dude, those are cool. Those things burn hot, man.
Yes, they do.
That's cool. Yeah. So So either way, I'm in the market for a new phone anyway. I have the 8 Plus. It won't be happening anytime soon, but I'm hoping by the end of the year, I'll be in the place where I can get a new one.
As in, like working for Apple?
No, as in like I'm gonna be buying this house and I'm not gonna have any freaking money. So
a
$1,300 iPhone is not gonna be on the top.
We're taking
priority.
up a collection. We're gonna have people
No.
We're gonna send Nick. We're gonna put you on a subscription for giant boxes of ramen.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a GoFundMe.
Did you see the video of the kid?
To put the,
There was a viral video that came out where the kid was standing in front of the screen while CNN was in the background, and he made a comment about what they were saying, the fake news they were saying. Oh yeah, we're protected by that with the Fourth Amendment or the Second Amendment or something like that. And he's eating ramen raw.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's famous.
Yeah. So, hey, I've got my new fundraiser going on here, looking for a new iPhone. I just want to thank everybody for their support.
Years ago, those of you who remember Jim Duffy, when he was on the show, Jim used to have a joke about the new charity was called Keep Jim in the Green.
Yeah. Gal, you were saying something when Spence started.
It was a joke of the... Already forgot.
Yeah. So what is the what are the as an IT and nerd, I don't even know what Apple's current offerings are. So you got the iPhone SE, Spence.
Yes.
Which is the same. It's got the old school bezel type. So they went back to the bar at the bottom, bar at the top kind of thing.
Yes.
Which honestly, I don't like the whole idea. Does the sensor have Touch ID?
Yes.
Then I'd probably get that over this stupid iPhone 11 because I don't like Face ID. I don't like the idea of Face ID, and then I don't like the idea of having to use a stupid pin.
Yeah, this doesn't have the multi-lens camera. It doesn't have the it still has a good camera, better than the one in my 7, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think
pretty good.
I think the forward-facing camera is 12 megapixels.
Did you buy it outright?
Bought it from Apple directly.
Did you? Now, did you do a trade-in, or you just paid it out?
No, there was her phone. There was no trade-in on her phone.
Oh, okay. Because I know they do offer that, the trade-ins.
Yeah, the trade-in on my 7 was like $30. So
worth keeping as a backup.
No, it's worth it. Yeah.
Nicholas.
Yeah.
Can you push the mic a little bit farther from your mouth?
No. Why?
Because it was. I mean, everybody else is kind of on the low, and then
okay.
Mike was saying that yours and Spence's Or I don't. I mean, do people on the show? Do you hear Nick and Spence kind of distorted a little bit?
Hopefully, we're not distorted.
I don't know. That's what Mike is saying.
I'm distorted.
Yeah.
How can you say I'm distorted?
Anyway, go ahead.
Very mature. Very mature.
Nothing about wrong with my audio.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. I don't trust your opinion. You're too much of a connoisseur. We're only in a hangout.
Wow. So my iPhone 8 Plus, which when I bought it was like $1,100 or $1,200 new, they are giving me $0 for trading.
And that's nice.
What a joke. I have my old iPhone 6 I need to do something with. Is there anything to do with these older iPhones? Because now I'm going to have two.
Yeah, I have my old 5S. I just use it for streaming and play music and that stuff. I
can tell you there was
what?
I can tell you with old Android phones, you can make them into an IP cam, for example.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
You can use them for home automation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, there's the new jailbreak that's out for the iPhone. It's the I don't remember the name of it. I'll look it up here in a minute, but it's the deviceless jailbreak. So you run it on the device and it doesn't require you to actually flash your OS. So it's an app jailbreak. But
it used to be a Black Rain or something like that.
Yeah, but the Black Rain one, you had to wipe the phone and start from scratch. This one just installs additional apps, including Cydia and some of the other jailbroken apps on the side. It doesn't require you to wipe the entire OS because they're using an exploit in it was a hardware issue on the iPhone that allowed them to bypass some of the security stuff. I'll get the name of it, but it's pretty cool. Just thinking of playing around with that.
As long as you want to be playing with it. Don't get too serious about it. Nick just he just put a picture.
Oh, I responded to a text. Wiggs, I meant that Hop Hog comment was meant for you, not for Alan. But he mentioned something about old Hop Hog, not old, but Hop Hog PC tuners. They were the ones, the first tuner cards I had. So the first one was ISA. And then I had finally graduated to digital tuners and newer technology. But that was how I built my first Windows media servers, was using Hop Hog products. I used to work in the town of Hop Hog.
Were they actually from Hop Hog?
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
That's where the company started.
Huh.
It was a little technology park out on Long Island, and I worked in a company called Anorad. I don't think there's any versions of them left anymore, but it was an early robotics company out there. And but Hop Hog was, so I used to drive by it every day when I went to work. Place. Yeah, Win TV. Yep.
Spence, you ready for specials?
Sure.
Before he starts that, I put the link in there for Check Rain.
Yeah,
that's the new jailbreak that you install directly from the phone itself. So if you want to read a little bit about it, you can go to their website. It's checkra.in.
Right.
All right. Well, as you know, today is Father's Day.
Today's Father's Day.
It is.
Yeah.
Everybody has a father.
Has to. Well,
Well,
yeah, it
unfortunately,
has to.
some people don't know their fathers, which
Yeah.
I was one of those people who was blessed to know mine for a long time. And I miss him. He would be, Amnon, he would be over 100 years old. My dad.
He is.
Oh, he is, yeah. But, all right, so put some funny memes there at the front of the specials today. My favorite one is the Luke and Leia picking out a card for their dad. And the card says, you're sick and twisted and evil, but you're still our dad.
I don't see
it's
that
great.
one.
Huh?
I don't see that one.
You don't see it?
It's
on the
it's
first
the
page.
drawing one.
It's the drawing. The drawing of Luke
one.
and Leia. And
Oh,
Luke,
oh,
Leia
wait,
saying,
wait,
"Oh,
wait,
Luke,
wait.
it's perfect. Cards for all occasions."
I was too far up. Never mind.
And the other one with the baby on the guy's shoulders. Oh my God. Oh, I would be mortified if something like that happened. Oh Lord. Okay, so
He was just sweating. He was just sweating.
that's just sweating. Yeah. Yeah. Tell yourself that. Okay. So I have to say that I was just indulging myself today and used out of my own extreme laziness this morning. I relied purely on Amazon to do a search for Father's Day stuff, but found some interesting things. Some practical, some funny, some useless, but that's okay. So all these things are on Amazon. I did not include the links, again, in my laziness this morning. But they're all out there. You can easily find them if you like it. But our first thing is Geek Dad, awesomely geeky projects and activities for dads and kids to share. It's a paperback book. It's $16. Got some interesting stuff in there. The next one is a T-shirt that is the blue screen of death. And it'd be great because you walk around with this and only some people are going to get it, which is really the purpose of an inside joke T-shirt, which is kind of fun. The next one, I wondered if I would like this or not. I don't usually have the radio on in the morning, except downstairs if I have it on at all. But this is an iFox Bluetooth shower speaker, certified waterproof. I don't know if it'll go underwater, but connect, your phone, your tablet, whatever, to play music in the shower. Used to have a shower radio that was, almost useless. Moving on to the next page, we've got a Donald Trump talking happy birthday card. Now it says happy birthday, but it was included in the father stuff. I don't know why they did that, but surprise someone special with a personal message from Donald saying happy birthday. I think they do have a Father's Day version of this too, but it's only $7.95. Oh, the next one, I love this. It's a set of coasters that are made from floppy disks. The isn't that great? I like that. So it's a retro, it's actually a silicone coaster, but it's made to look like 4 floppy disks. What a nice idea.
Yeah.
We also got, I thought of this, I have some old video projectors that are barely, maybe SVGA, not appropriate for showing movies, projection movies, whatever. The quality would be so poor. We used to use it outside. We'd have like movie night or something like that. But this is for $119. They've got an LED 1080p 170-inch display support projector, HDMI projector. $119.
Yeah, the first one that we bought at the internet center that was probably 1/10 of the power of this one.
Yeah,
and it
huge.
was 640 by 480, and it was $7,000.
And the hours for the bulb, they actually had a timer in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember buying one. The first one I bought that I was authorized to buy was over $4,000.
Yeah.
And I still have it. It still works, but it doesn't. I mean, it's the best you can do would be S video coming into this thing. It's all VGA, composite, or S video.
That's
It
nice.
still works.
119, you know.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's amazing. 4,000 hour LED lamp.
Yeah. 40.
40,000. I'm sorry, 40,000 hour. That's even better, right? All right.
That's how
This
that's about how much was the lamp for the other one.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, or more. I remember I had a really old one that was actually an XGA, but it was huge. It was from a conference room when they were decommissioning Nortel. I actually had to cut the cable to get it out of the conference room because they were just basically putting the stuff in boxes and getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it had a lamp that cost $350.
Yeah.
All right, this next shirt, I actually bought this for myself. It's Never Forget. It shows a picture of a diskette, a VCR, and a cassette. That's fun. All right, so another book here. This is a thing explainer, complicated stuff in simple words. Thing explainer, $18 hardcover.
Yeah, it's from the author of XKCD.
What's that?
Oh, if you don't know, XKCD is a daily comic website for nerds.
Oh, okay.
You probably
I probably have seen it. I just didn't realize.
Yeah. Always stick figures and nerdy stuff. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I remember that one.
And so that book is I think it came out like 2 years ago. It's supposed to be a good one.
Yeah, the reviews were good, and it sells really well. This next thing, I think I mentioned this before, but I actually bought this for my daughter, and at first I said, I need to try this. So put it this way, it was a couple of months before I actually gave it to my daughter because it was so much fun. I probably should get one for myself, but this is a LED clock, and the way it works is it's got a spinning blade that's a fan that disappears when the fan is spinning, but the LEDs will put the analog clock up there on the what looks like a hologram. And it looks just like what you see here. And it's on a gooseneck. You plug it into your computer, and it's got literally has a built-in fan. And you set the time, and it remembers even when you shut the computer off. It does have to keep alive in it, to keep the memory in there. So it writes to memory and remembers the time. Not sure how that works, but it's actually pretty cool. That's
I remember. I saw this live. The AT manager, she had it, and on Fridays it would say "Happy Friday."
Yeah, you could do some programming too, which is neat.
Yeah.
It's
really cool. A cool concept.
The next one, I've never seen this before. Lighted LED gloves. What a great idea. I mean, there are so many times when I'm working and they're cutaway gloves. So your fingertips are exposed. They're just basically they slide onto your thumb and your index finger and they wrap around your wrist where they have the batteries. But I do so much work where I'm reaching up like under a sink and I have a headlamp sometimes, or I have to have a work light with me. But boy, this would be great. Or for reaching into a spot that's dark or you're working on a car or whatever. But what a cool idea. $16.99 for LED flashlight gloves. What a great idea. This next one, and I'm curious as to how it actually works. It shows the image sitting above the projector. It says a 3D illusion Star Wars nightlight, 3 patterns and 7 color change lamp. So you either have the Millennium Falcon, the R2D2, or the Death Star. And I believe
it looks like plastic, like just lighting up a plastic.
I don't know how that works,
mold.
unless it just projects it on the ceiling. But they show an image standing right above the projector, which makes me think that's just that's kind of a deceptive illusion there. $24.99. And then, of course, the perfect mug for support personnel, and it should have it on both sides of the cup, so that if you're right-handed, the people who come to see you see this instead of you seeing it. So the cup says, have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh, I tell you, I could tell stories about being a support person and a repair person, just the crazy, crazy, crazy stuff that people would do, and then wonder why it didn't work. Oh, well. All right. So drone quality keeps going up. Prices keep coming down. This is, it's a generic brand out there. There's probably 6 versions of the same drone that have different names. But $69 for a Wi-Fi drone with 720p camera, voice control, wide angle, live video recording, quadcopter, altitude control, gravity sensor, blah, blah, blah. $69, only $79. It's just fun. I have a drone. It's not as sophisticated as this, but it does have a camera in it, which is okay, but it's not a gimbaling camera. It's a fixed camera. So it really is kind of limited in what you can do with it. But it's still fun to take like an overhead shot. I just, when cleaning my garage out, Amnon, I came across an old model rocket kit that Aaron had gotten at some point, probably for a birthday. It's got to be 20 years ago.
Did you shoot it?
And it's still in the box, brand new, but it had a camera in it. It had a 110 camera in the nose of the rocket. And when the parachute would pop at the end of the flight, it would trigger the camera and take a picture. And then you had to go and get the picture developed. It was kind of fun. So I'm giving it to him today. I'm going to bring it over to his house. We're having a barbecue. I showed him a picture. I said, "You remember it?" He goes, "Oh, yeah."
Does it have the original card?
Everything. And it's got the original motors.
No. The original happy birthday card.
Oh, I don't know. There's nothing like that with it. It was really, the box is in terrible shape.
Oh.
But the whole thing is there. The stand, the launcher, and they've never been used. So bring that over today. The reason I thought this next thing was interesting, it says Cube Key Finder Smart Tracker, Bluetooth tracker for dogs and kids.
What?
So, hey, and they have different versions of this.
But how
company Cube. Huh?
How far can it be?
Oh, there's one that has 100-foot range. There's another one that has 200-foot range.
Oh.
So, hey, if you go to the store and you got kids with you and you want to keep track of where they're at, $29. And this has changeable batteries. That was one thing I didn't like about Tile, was that their batteries weren't changeable. You just bought new ones every year. So I thought this was an interesting idea. This next one is for families that have lots of kids. So you go on vacation. I've seen this on cruise ships and at Disney World, where people just give everybody a radio, and they go out, and that way they keep. Well, where are you? This is obviously before cell phones were widely available for kids too, but still today, when you go someplace, you might go to an event where it's not practical, or maybe in some places, I know in Japan, they actually allow cell phone jamming at events so people don't spend all their time on the phone or live stream. But hey, 10 FRS radios.
That's $12.90 each.
10 for $129, 10 pack, all with chargers, which is
what would be
absolutely
the
amazing.
range of these?
It could be up to 30 miles. FRS is
Wow.
there's the unlicensed and the licensed versions of FRS, Family Radio Service, and they can go up to 30 miles. It's absolutely amazing technology, and I've had
So
several.
this is an evolution of CB.
Kind of. It's separate, different frequencies. It's UHF,
Mm.
where CB was like AM radio.
Yeah, these wouldn't exist in Israel. So I mean, obviously,
This is
taxi stations and stuff like that, they license them, but
Anything wireless.
the
like
public,
this,
wouldn't be able to.
Right.
Everything.
So these
all the bandwidths are licensed.
You're supposed to get an FCC license, and it's not a big deal to get it. It's basically just paying a fee.
Only if you want to use certain of the
Only certain
some of the
frequencies and only
frequencies
certain
that are in there.
transmit power.
Yeah.
Is the key, is that you're paying. But certainly, I've got, well, what are the ones I have?
I don't
now?
know
guess
anybody that gets
Motorola's.
an FCC.
I used to have some really nice Cobra, and I've got the, I have police have the microphone combination speaker that they clip to their shoulder. I actually have those. I bought them for the Cobra, and they're made by Motorola, but they don't work really well with the ones I have now. What are the ones I have? I can't remember the brand name. It has the slot. It has the jack for it, but for some reason it's not compatible with that phone. But I've used them so infrequently.
That's neat.
But occasionally, like I'll tell you when it's a really good time to use it, is when you're towing a car, or you're doing something where you need to have instantaneous. You can't be there dialing the phone, right? Or doing a text or whatever, where you need to just talk for a second and let it go. This is where it comes in handy. I used to use it also when I was under a house doing something and I had somebody upstairs I was working with to try to find a problem. I'd use these kind of radios, just clip it to my shirt. You could put it on voice activation, the Vox setting too, which was good. All right. This next one's for you, Amnon. Bluetooth Beanie Hat.
Mm-hmm.
So it's built in. You pull it down, and it's got a Bluetooth. I actually have the eye shade version of this, where you you cover your eyes when you want to sleep. I've got a version of it that's got your Bluetooth built into it, so you can actually just, with your eyes covered, you can listen to music. It's really nice when you want to relax. If it's during the day and you're trying to take a nap or whatever.
And you get hot.
Huh?
And you get hot.
Yeah. Well, it works good. It's comfortable. It actually sounds pretty good. It's not bad, but $19. And this next one, I thought this was it's expensive because it's a novelty, but it is a Star Trek Next Generation communicator badge, but it's Bluetooth. So it actually has all the same features of a Bluetooth speaker. So you can talk, you can get a phone call, it'll chirp, you answer the call using this by tapping the badge. What a great, oh boy, if you're a Star Trek fan, that would really be fun. I just the other night watched one of the classic Star Trek episodes, The Trouble with Tribbles.
Yep.
Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched that again. That was so much fun. Okay.
Are you a Star Trek fan? Like,
oh yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
So,
I've been to shows. I actually saw Shatner speak at one, which was extremely rare. I met the whole cast to Deep Space Nine.
I think Gal is trying
That's
to tell
cool.
you something.
Yeah.
No. So so I want to make sure that it's relevant. Deep Space Nine, right? They visit the Trebles episode.
They do? I don't remember that.
In time travel, yeah. And so it's check it, find that episode. It's a fantastic episode. Yeah.
That was at the point when Deep Space Nine was popular, was at the time when I kind of, not because I didn't like it, because I just didn't have the time. I wasn't following it.
Oh, I'm with you. I saw it as an adult way later here on Netflix or something.
But I met Armin Shimmerman, and I met Renee Bergemois, and I met Tim, who played Tuvok.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So I went to one of the conventions here in Raleigh, and I met the cast. Oh, it was great, and it was very low key. You got to talk to them. And it was not like, walk by, there they are, and they waved. But
yeah,
it was really cool.
That's great. That's cool.
Well, here you go. Mug, world's okayest dad.
Yeah, I saw it.
And then it says at the bottom, just kidding, you're awesome. So good joke, Mug, for dad. This next one, it's for all us people that are on the list of people that get called when something breaks. So it's a good shirt. It says, I fix shit.
Yep.
So I still have my shirt. I wore this on a cruise ship recently. We were taking a cruise, and they just happened to be they were on this particular ship. They were rolling out their new internet. They call it Medallion on the Princess cruise ships, where you get a little RFID transponder that you wear, and you walk around the ship. And they, of course, they know where you are all the time. But you can use it to pay for stuff. When you walk up to your cabin, the door unlocks. You can find other people in your party. You can track your family. All these really interesting features. But I was wearing a shirt that said, "No, I will not fix your computer." And the IT guys were in the hallway. They got their laptop out. They're working on the network. And the guy said, "Oh, man, that Curtis shirt is so cool. Can I get my picture taken with you?" It was these young guys. I guess they'd never seen it before. But it was great. But I love these kind of shirts. All right. And finally, I'm sorry. The next one is this. I've never seen this before. 5-pack of cleaning gel, universal cleaning gel for keyboards, car dashes, printers, calculators, speakers, air conditioners. I hate to see what that would pick up. But you take this glob of stuff basically and press it down into a keyboard or whatever you want to clean, and it picks up all the stray garbage. It's a pack of 5 of these things. I wonder if it's washable.
That's slime for adults.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Cool stuff.
Cool.
I mean, hey, Gal, do you have any of those no skid pads they give you for cars?
What do you do if it gets stuck in there? Pieces get stuck.
You buy a new
there.
keyboard. I don't know.
You buy a
It's
new
good
pack
question.
to take out the old pack.
Old one, that's right. Yeah. It looks like a waffle after it's used on the keyboard, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you check the Amazon search for this, there's a lot of this type, and it looks like it's just that it's slime, the what the kid play with.
Yep.
That's what you do. You clean the keyboard and then you give it to the kids to play with.
Let's do cleaning slime.
Surprised they don't have to send it to an
Dang.
EPA site after you're
Yeah.
done or something here.
Yeah, if you write cleaning slime, you get the same thing.
Wow.
That's cool.
All right, so this last one, and there's several versions of this under different names. It's this really cool retro digital flip clock. Remember the first clock radios that had digital? It was a tiny little, and that used to be all the message systems in airports and train stations and all that, and clocks were these flipping little tabs on like a Rolodex. So here is a clock that is exposed, so it's open to the air. I guess it was going to get dirty over time. But it is the flip clock where you see the mechanism. Different, but cheapest one I could find was the $41.99 one, gear operated. But what a cool retro device! Not for kids. It would last 5 seconds with kids before it was shot.
Yeah, you need to get also.
I remember as a kid, setting the time just to see them flip,
move.
Yes,
playing with it. Yeah,
you need to cover it with like a glass sphere or something.
Put it in a cabinet, right? Glass cabinet.
Yeah.
I thought
It is
was
neat.
Awesome. Yeah. So happy Father's Day. Talk to your dad if you can. Remember your dad if you can't.
Yep. Thanks, Spence.
my wife's dad passed away this week, so it's
He's
really
in a better
Sorry.
place.
Oh, for sure. Counting his last couple of years, for sure.
We're planning we're going to plant a small high-tech closed community somewhere in the middle of the mountains of North Carolina if you want to join the effort to get away from the madness here.
Madness it is. Definitely. Anyway. 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype.
Call us if you just want us to say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day.
Merry Christmas.
No, that's ho, 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 ho.
It's too early for that. Sorry.
So, Zoom users, rejoice.
No.
Weeks after Zoom said it will offer end-to-end encryption to only paying customers, a move that was received poorly by several privacy and security advocates. The popular video calling software said on Wednesday it is making some amendments. We are also pleased to share that we have identified a path forward that balances the legitimate rights of all users to privacy and the safety of users on your platform. This will enable us to offer E2EE end-to-end encryption as an advanced add-on feature for all of our users around the globe, free and paid. That means for free users and paid users, while maintaining the ability to prevent and fight abuse on our platform. To make this possible, free/basic users seeking access to E2EE will participate in a one-time process that will prompt the user for additional pieces of information, such as verifying a phone number via a text message. And they said that a lot of companies do that anyway, so no big deal. But that's nice. And I always, since that whole controversy started, I said, so how does it work? I mean, what if I am a paid user and there are 5 free users in the conference?
If you're hosting the session, then it's a paid session. Everybody in the session are
but
encrypted.
if their version does not have it built in.
Oh no, everybody's running the same version. It's all
okay.
depending on what you're logged in. So
yeah, okay. So yeah, so that's nice. So like in right now, since I have the paid version and I host it, we should be end-to-end encryption.
yeah, you
so
have
to
that
speak. Even
green
if you have
checkbox at the top.
the what?
You have a green check mark at the top on a shield. It says you are using enhanced encryption. That's when you know that the session is encrypted.
Okay, it's too far from me. I can't see. But anyway, it's interesting. So Zoom is, even if you're a free user, you get that, which makes sense. What else we have here? Or what else does anybody else have? Okay, never mind. Here's something for Alan. I think he was saying that grandma lives in the hills and stuff and no internet. With over 500 Starlink broadband beaming satellites already in orbit, SpaceX is looking to move ahead with rolling out its internet service. The Elon Musk-led company is now seeking beta testers to test it out. The service website now invites users to apply to become early adopters of the service. Get updates on Starlink news and services and service availability in your area, it reads. Once signed up, users get an email that says Starlink is designed to deliver high-speed broadband internet to locations where access has been unreliable, expensive, or completely unavailable. Private beta testing is expected to begin later this summer, followed by a public beta testing starting with higher latitudes. So I guess they want you to be in an area where you will subscribe to it. I didn't see how much.
Well, they're trying to test things in higher latitude. So like northern Canada is like the area that they're really trying to jump on, because that's a much high, the goal with this is they know they've got probably good US coverage. So they want to be able to test certain areas. I signed up for it, but I don't think I'm in the class of people that would qualify for a beta.
Right. They probably want to have.
They want people that are rural and don't have access to high-speed internet.
But anyway, if you're in an
cool, though.
area where it's expensive, unreliable, go for it. Go ahead and register.
Yeah.
It's
You just
very
got to give
cool.
them your name, your email, and your zip code.
Interesting how many companies were thinking over the last 15, 20 years, low orbiting. Microsoft even talked about doing this. And here it took Elon
Microsoft,
Musk.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of different companies say, oh, yeah, we're going to do that. Oh, yeah, we're going to do it.
I mean,
Elon Musk
Tesla's
did.
cool and whatnot, and so is SpaceX, but Starlink could be a real game changer
Yeah.
for regular people.
Yep.
That's the rubber band launch system where they had this long bungee cord. They strap you down, they tighten it up, and whammo.
I mean, SpaceX is cool, but in the reality, what is SpaceX going to have no impact on my life in a literal sense?
Well, you don't know that one might land on your house.
Yeah, one of the boosters comes back
Comes
and tries
down
to
by
land
accident,
on your
lands
roof.
in your yard.
Yeah, blows up the house. Yeah, that actually be pretty
It's
funny.
just interesting. Now, who's using T-Mobile?
Not me, thank God.
So
It's a
T-Mobile.
rough week for them.
I'm using T-Mobile.
So
Really?
did you have a problem last week?
Nope.
Well, they
Well,
said,
you're in the minority then, because literally everybody in the United States
yeah.
had call issues.
It says T-Mobile network suffered an outage across the U.S. last week, and the Federal Communication Commission is investigating. The T-Mobile network outage is unacceptable. The FCC is launching an investigation. We're demanding answers. And so are American consumers, tweeted FCC Chairman Ajit Pai. The outage may have been self-inflicted when T-Mobile was making network configuration changes. Cloudflare CEO Matthew Prince last night tweeted that T-Mobile was making some changes to their network configuration today. Unfortunately, it went badly. The result has been, for around the last 6 hours, a series of cascading failures for their users, impacting both voice and data networks. The T-Mobile problem was almost certainly entirely of their own team's making. He also wrote, T-Mobile outage was so large that it apparently caused some people to think other carriers and websites were down too. And
It was massive.
yeah, it was. And there was another article that I read about T-Mobile that now that they bought Sprint, they actually let go of quite a few thousand employees.
Oh, I'm
last
sure.
week. And maybe that's what they were trying to reconfirm. Maybe they were trying to do something because of that merger. But anyway, they said that it was of their own doing.
Yeah. Well, I would assume the problem was that they made a small change, it failed, and then it started propagating.
Yeah.
And then once it started propagating, your SOL. I would assume that's what happened.
Very, very possible.
Because it was like 6 or 8 hours. I mean, you kind of saw it go from coast to coast. It started on the East Coast, and then when it was resolved on the East Coast, I still saw tweets from people out in California and Washington State saying, "Hey, it's still down for us." So,
yeah. But it's interesting that the FCC is investigating it because that's
of course.
unacceptable.
well, and I would agree. I mean,
It's technical.
Well, it is technical, but you got to remember, people rely on that communication for 911 and other services, and that's part of what that's part of T-Mobile is an FCC licensed entity, and there's a certain level of coverage or a certain level of service that they're required to maintain, and obviously shit happens. What are you going to do? I doubt it wasn't malicious, but yeah, there'll be an investigation. Somebody will get fired, and that'll be the end of it.
I mean, when you think about it, a lot of people today don't have landlines. They
I don't have a
rely
landline.
on their cell phone.
Yeah.
God forbid you have an emergency and you can't.
Shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Completely.
That's what those car flares are for, Rick, Nick. For an emergency.
Help!
Stand out on the lawn, you wave it. Help.
I'm having a heart attack. Help!
That's it.
Bring back semaphores.
I've
That's it.
fallen and I can't get up.
Here's
Oh,
another.
we had to learn as for one of the merit badges in Boy Scouts, we had to learn semaphore with the flags.
This is why I have my ham radio license. So if something were going on, I can just pop on my ham radio and call for help. Hope, there's probably
can you
nobody
order-
listening.
Can you order takeout on ham radio?
I could talk to somebody probably via HF and they could order it for me.
Is there no more like a relay with the telephone? There used to be.
What do you mean?
That you can actually dial through
there's no such thing.
your
Well, that was to support mobile carriers. Like, but when the first mobile phones were that technology in cars, it was really I don't remember what frequency they used.
I remember there was
But it was-
something that maybe somebody would dial it for you at the other
Well,
end.
you would call originally you would dial up to the operator and on a mobile radio, on a car radio, and they would complete
Connect
the
you,
call
yeah.
for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But you had to pause because it was in the beginning. It wasn't full duplex.
It wasn't duplex at all.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you had to wait.
it was RF.
You have to
It was
say
completely
over.
RF. Yeah.
Anybody? The only reason I'm even aware of this next story is because I was toying with the idea of buying a new NAS drive to rebuild my Western Digital. Anybody familiar with the controversy now with Western Digital and their red drives?
Yeah, aren't they? They're
Yeah.
black drives that don't pass.
Well, the big issue is that they're using, instead of using CMR, conventional,
SMR. Yeah.
they're using SMR, which is basically a way of getting more data onto the same number of platters, but they are advertising it as a NAS drive. Their red products are NAS drives, and they're blowing up so much NAS hardware because the way they write is not compatible. So they're being sued now for saying that their SMR drives support NAS. And that's like their whole, unless you buy a Red Pro, I think even the Red Pros do it.
I think they pulled all those out. I mean, because of the controversy.
Not Western Digital.
They all three of them did.
Well, this is a story
Western
from
Digital are the
GPT.
only one who did not come out and say this will not happen in NAS. All the other did. Hitachi and Seagate, they said in our lines it never goes into the NAS line, only for the home and hobby and office and stuff. But Western Digital, it's all over the board, and it's a Russian roulette.
Yeah, it says this story was from the 18th, and it says a month ago, end users discovered Western Digital was putting SMR drives in their Red product line. And I read about it, was comments on Amazon, because I always look at the reviews, and some of them had like 25% one review. I'm like, why? What happened? And it wasn't a reliability thing. It was like they're saying this will not work, and they listed all the different NAS hardware that it wouldn't work with. So people were pissed.
Yeah,
People are still very, very much pissed.
Amazing. Yep, all to make money.
Here's an interesting story, and it's interesting how it works. Earlier this month, the bodies of 2 children were discovered buried in the backyard of Chad Daybell, the current husband of the children's mother, Lori. I mean, we saw it on the news. I mean, they've been missing for a long time. In the recently released probable cause document released this last week, it was revealed that location data obtained from cell phone GPS and tower pings from persons of interest played a large role in both identifying who was probably involved and at what times that activity occurred. The location accuracy was apparently sufficient enough to identify 2 areas of interest in the large backyard. I mean, this is amazing. Now, this is using technology to solve crimes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, these people buried their kids in their backyard and then went to Hawaii for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
It's fine. But my point here
kind of a
is
sure shooting that was them anyway.
it's great that it can be used, but I wonder now how many privacy advocates are going to say, yeah, okay, but that means that you can trace.
Well, this
me
was always the case. I mean, once the police get a warrant,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, they can do whatever they want.
it's great. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't be able to find them. This is a sort of like a feel good thing. Yeah, they got them. Those kids did not deserve to die, but no stretch of the imagination. Nobody could say that. Now, here's something that I don't understand, and a lot of other people don't understand either, but it's kind of happening. Google is pressing on with new plans to hide all parts of web addresses except the domain name. That's coming from Android Police. A few new feature flags have appeared in Chrome's Dev and Canary channels, version 85, which modify the appearance and behavior of web addresses in the address bar. The main flag is called Omnibox UI Hide Steady State URL Path, Query and Ref. I mean, that's what a flag. Which hides everything in the current web address except the domain name. So you know how sometimes you have you want to send somebody a link, and you capture the whole address, what page and this and everything else. Now they're only going to show the domain name, nothing after that.
What happens
But if you right-click copy, it'll copy everything.
I don't know.
It's just a visual
That's
thing.
the question. Yeah,
I don't know. So
No, it's just a visual thing.
there are 2 additional flags that modify this behavior. One reveals the full address once you hover over the address bar, which that's good, instead of having to click it, while the other only hides the address bar once you interact with the page. An issue page on the Chromium bug tracker has also been created for keeping track of the changes, though there aren't any additional details here. Now, here's what I don't understand. There is an address bar there. There is. It's not going to go away. What's the difference?
That's what I don't understand. Why do they keep changing this? I don't know. What's the point? There's no reason to it. I mean, people know www dot.
Yeah, who's looking at it? When you're surfing, who's looking at it? You're looking at the page you're on. I mean, you should be looking at it to make sure that you are where you think you are. But the point is, you're hiding, you're modifying what it says in there, yet all it is, it's so now if I want to see where I am exactly, so I have to go and hover over it. Now you ask me to do another task. And it's not changing anything. It's the address bar is there, whether it's only 10 characters in there or 300 characters in there.
Now, when you say Google is going to block it, are we just talking about Chrome or are we talking about all Google searches?
Well, remember, no, Google is pushing, I mean, it's going to be in Chrome, but Google is pushing, just like they did with the SSL. They're pushing everybody to do that. And they can, obviously.
Switch to Firefox.
And then you'll be able to buy a a Google decoder that will actually show you for extra money. You'll pay this. We'll give you this app. Oh, boy.
No.
I'm going to have to take off in a couple minutes. We have a Father's Day obligation that we need to.
You cannot. No,
I can't.
You have a Father's Day
All right,
obligation.
well, I'll carry my phone with me. I'll log in from my phone.
No, Amnon won't pay you if you leave.
That's right. I'm going to duck your
Yeah.
pay.
Okay.
Nah.
I'm okay with that. I'll be around another 5 minutes or so, and then
Yeah,
I'll just disappear into the darkness.
The history of hacking has largely been a back and forth game with attackers devising a technique to breach a system, defenders constructing a countermeasure that prevented the technique, and hackers devising a new way to bypass. On last Monday, Intel announced its plans to bake a new Parry, P-A-R-R-Y, directly into its CPUs that's designed to thwart software exploits that execute malicious code on vulnerable computers. You can do that, I guess, with certain things, but things that change all the time. I wonder what good is it going to be, because I don't think you're going to be able to write to it unless it's when you boot, it writes it somewhere and then there are updates to it. But that's interesting. My anti-malware is built into the CPU. What, Gal?
I'm not saying nobody needs it, because I don't really understand the application, right?
Well,
how would anti-malware on the CPU level? One thing I can see is some sort of protection from rootkits.
yeah, things
Right.
that attack or take advantage of CPU things, not from a phishing email, obviously. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's interesting that they're thinking about doing it.
Company, a security company I worked for in Israel, their CEO, after he left the company I was working on,
Uh-huh.
his project was an interesting one. It didn't fly at the end, but what they created was a PC on a USB stick,
Uh-huh.
and that was basically a complete security suite. Antivirus, web gateway, everything you have in a data center setup, hardware firewall, all of that, but everything would run on a separate piece of hardware that you would hook up via USB to your machine, to your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're on the road, right, you would have that full suite of protection, and the only cost to performance would be your battery life, because it's just getting battery from the laptop. So somehow it sounds similar to this. It's like the CPU is going to reserve a component of the CPU is going to be reserved for security, right? And whatever security suite you're going to use is just going to reside there. But it also sounds to me like, okay, so Malwarebytes can write their own software that sits there, but what would prevent the malware to hack that area as well, right? That's what I don't understand. So if you design something specifically for security, right, that creates a uniform location for a security vulnerability to attack. It's like Internet Explorer. It was the most common attack vector for a long time, right?
The target, yeah.
Because it came by default, right? People were using it,
Mm-hmm.
and so the exposure of whatever hack that was designed for Internet Explorer, right, was pretty much promised to work, 70%, 60% because of its widespread. When people were starting to shift away to more secure browsers, I mean, Chrome was part of that shift, right? When they switched to the multi-process architecture with sandboxing and everything. So it became a lot harder to attack the browser, and different systems will have different browser. There's no longer that uniformity of Internet Explorer. They started attacking Adobe PDF readers, right? Because they were everywhere and they could run JavaScript, and so and they weren't secure enough, and so it was easy. So they found a very easy vector of attack.
Right.
This sounds right. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of smart people came up with the idea, and I'm just hearing about this for the first time. So don't take my word on it, but this sounds like they're prepping the CPUs for a very, very, very efficient vector of attack for hackers. That's how it sounds to me. It's like, we got this perfect, we got this perfect lock. If you put it on your door, nobody can hack it. That means that this is the number one lock that the hackers are going to focus on.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how it sounds. I don't know. It's, I mean, most houses, right, when a burglar comes in and tries to steal something, they go out with what? I don't know, a couple of hundreds to a couple of $1,000 worth of stuff, right? Where they really focus is on the bank vault.
Yeah.
Right. So I tell you what they need to do. They need to set it up so when that thing is attacked, they need to give you a file to put somewhere, a file that will be sent to the attacker with a whole bunch of numbers and something that looks like, wow, look what I just got. And let them try and spend time to try and decode it and try to find what it is and where it came from. And right. But we're in the age of the internet. Yeah. Once one hacker figures out that, then they're passed to the next stage, right? That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
True. Oh, Spence left already.
Yep.
Well, if you're listening to us, Spence, have fun and happy Father's Day. So, talking about spyware and stuff, a newly discovered spyware effort attacked users through 32 million downloads of extensions to Google market-leading Chrome web browser, highlighting the tech industry's failure to protect browsers as they are used more for email, payroll, and other sensitive functions. Google said it removed more than 70 of the malicious add-ons from its official Chrome web store after being alerted by the researchers last month. When we are alerted of extensions in the web store that violate our policies, we take actions and use those incidents as training material to improve our automated and manual analysis. That's what Google said. Most of the free extensions purported to warn users about questionable websites or convert files from one format to another. Instead, that's what you would think that you're downloading. It's something that warns you or converts. Instead, they siphoned off browsing history and data that provided credentials for access to internal business tools. Based on the number of downloads, it was the most far-reaching malicious Chrome store campaign to date, according to Awake co-founder and chief scientist Gary Gollum. So Google is not that great when they allow third party.
They don't do anything.
They don't do anything, huh?
As far as I know, they don't screen anything. There is a sort of process that you go through. I published one extension as a test to see how that works. Other than, I don't know, paying $1 or something for identification, right? It gets to the store really, really, really fast.
Interesting.
Nick,
what were you going to say, Nick?
I said, no, Gal's absolutely right. Yeah, there's like literally nothing. Which, to be fair, it's not.
I don't see them liable either.
No, they're not liable. And I don't think I want them to be screening that stuff anyway. I mean, you don't want this to turn into the iOS App Store.
Remember, I mean, here when I had the app developed for Nissan Communications.
Oh, by the way, the Android app isn't working properly.
Really? Okay, I don't know. It's been years, and they did not accept it because of one thing. It was showing the video as it came out of YouTube, the live.
Right, and they don't allow that. Yeah,
they don't allow. So why? I mean, so they are checking certain.
Well,
things.
Okay, but you're two different things. Android and Google Chrome are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on Android, they have to, in my opinion, on Android, they have to be a little bit more careful due to what it is and security. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, not that there's not secure things on your computer, but they've got a little bit more of a leash on the phone.
Android. Okay.
Which I think is fine.
Gal, we need to talk. I think I know why it doesn't work now. I found that a lot of the searches that were cached on Google also didn't work after I switched to the new website on Delta Force, and it was a link that changed because there are some hard-coded links in there, and that may be the reason. I don't know. But the thing is that I was always told, Amnon, the best app for what you're trying to do is just a bookmark. Because all you do,
true.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, a bookmark or a good mobile website, which is what a lot of things do now.
Right.
Well, and here's the good thing about what you do, and what like we do with Infection, is that there's already a YouTube app, there's already a Twitch app. So if you really want, you're not going to really be chatting on the phone.
Right.
So if you want to watch it, there's already a platform to do that. Because Brian and I talked about doing an app at one point. It was the same thing. It's like, well, we've already got a podcast.
Yeah.
We've already got, Twitch has got an app. Mixer's got an app. YouTube has an app. So if somebody wants to watch it on their phone, they can do so. It's not not hard to do.
Back then when I did it, it was the thing to do.
Correct.
So
yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah.
But yeah, that's you're right.
One of the reasons to install an app today, for me as a consumer, right, as a user of apps, is so there's two factors. One is some sort of streamlined use. That would be when displaying something from a web browser might be lagging some way because there's a lot of emphasis on on design instead of content, and so an app might streamline the process more. But where it is very important is when you want the input from the phone. If you want to use the camera, if you want some sort of interaction with the outside of the phone using the phone's ability, right? Something that has to do with location, something that has to do, and you don't want that to be part of a more global application. You don't want to allow location bases to your web browser, but you will be okay conceding to a specific app doing a specific thing, right? So that's one point. And the other point would be unique notifications, right? Any other things outside of these, when we're talking about online content, right? Obviously, if you're, I don't know, if you want something to play music on, right, you want an app for that, and etc. But if you're talking about a website and some web presence, yeah, there's no longer need for a specific app. If you look, most of them are rated 3 stars or below, right? Because they're not great. And you should use something that is already very well developed and just focus on making a very responsive site instead of focusing on a lot of platforms, right? Web, mobile, etc. So yeah, a specific app is not necessarily a good fit unless it's used offline, but for online, less important.
No.
It is pretty funny to watch the app craze kind of come and go. Right?
Yeah.
And you had a time where literally there were apps for anything.
Anything. Yeah. There's an app for that. There's an app for that. Right.
And now you're just seeing a little bit of a, I think you're seeing a little bit of a change where, like, for example, I'm in a kind of a unique situation because a lot of the things I like to visit are not allowed to have apps because Apple decides they're not valuable on the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of my stuff on my phone on on browsers, on Brave, and that's the browser I use on my phone to access like Gab and things like that.
Oh.
And they have Mastodon. There's a Mastodon client on the phone too, which is cool.
Yeah. And I mean, I was blown away when we switched Delta Force to the new website that Sean built.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys said, look on the phone. Wow.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. Have you even talked? Yeah. You have a brand new Delta Force website. Just tell people to go there.
People go there if they need to. I mean, it's.
Well, yeah, but they don't know there's a new website. Go check it out.
Yeah, DeltaForce.net. It's been there for a few weeks.
It looks good,
and it's great. It's mobile, works like it should. I mean,
hey, it looks like it's from the last couple of years and not from the 90s.
That was this has been in the works for about 4 years.
And then you click on Nissan Communications and you go back to the old site.
That's the next one, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it looks excellent.
Yeah, Sean did a bang-up job on that.
Sean did a great job.
Very talented individual.
In his spare time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
He's a good boy.
Anything else
for
today?
Trying to think.
Not a thing. God?
I don't think so.
No.
All right.
Good.
Oh.
Do your Windows update. Do 2004. Get it up to date.
Yeah, none
I wouldn't jump on that so fast. Only do it if you have it available via Windows Update. Otherwise, you might find yourself needing to reinstall Windows from scratch. So,
interesting.
I've read about others. I've had an experience, and I ended up installing from scratch. So, not something I was planning on doing. Yeah.
That sucks.
For me, it was some video component player something. So the upgrade messed up some stuff there. And then I read some.
And you couldn't roll it back? Oh, you didn't even look.
I did. I actually didn't didn't find a way of doing that, but I wasn't looking too hard, right?
Yeah.
Once things started playing up, acting up, then I just decided, okay, I'll find because I knew that once I'll do that, I'll be home safe. So.
Only one machine.
I mean, waiting for a couple of hours for a rollback, and then testing, and then seeing if it works, compared to spending a couple of hours installing some my basic software, which I already have pretty streamlined process. I went with installing from scratch.
Yeah. That's fine, as long as it works.
But I gotta say, if you have the Pro version, definitely check out Windows subsystems for Linux. The new version basically gives you Linux as a first-class citizen inside your Windows. It's a very interesting experience, and you can pretty much run Ubuntu software. You go to the App Store, the Windows App Store. You download Ubuntu. You run it. You can run any Ubuntu binary. Use the apt install command line, install software there. You can run Docker from the Windows subsystem from Linux, so you don't need it doesn't run a separate VM for Docker. It's a really, really interesting solution. Microsoft wrote their own Linux kernel. They are it's like a sentence I never thought I'd ever utter, right? It's like it feels blasphemous, but it's really well thought of design, much better than their first iteration of it, which was okay-ish. Now it's excellent. And
so we can, at this point, we can say that Windows does work.
This is maybe not Windows, because then you're giving credit to something that doesn't really work.
Oh, yeah.
So Windows was a distribution. It might even still exist, but it wasn't.
It does still exist.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
Exactly. One interesting thing that I just flew over me, and it's been available since Vista, I think. If you, I don't think it's part of Home, but it's part of Pro. If you go to the features, there's a feature called Windows Sandbox. We were speaking about security and all that. Windows Sandbox is probably, and they did some improvement in the latest version as well. Windows Sandbox is basically a Windows machine inside the Windows machine that you're running, and it allows you to install, test software in a volatile machine. So you open the Sandbox, you get a Windows inside a window, a complete Windows system. It's basically a VM in the background, and you can do whatever you need to do, install, reboot, etc. Once you shut down, you close the window, that's gone.
So you can test your Windows update in a...
You can probably do that as well. I don't know if it'll be that interesting in this situation, because that Windows Sandbox is a clean machine 100% of the time. So it's not your machine.
It's not a true presentation.
But if you want to test an application you downloaded from the net and you don't know its effect on the system, you don't even trust whether it might be malicious or not, you can just dump it into the Sandbox version. You can copy paste into it, right? So it works very efficiently, and then you can run it there, and you're safe because it runs in this compounded box. So, and by this being built in by Microsoft, you don't need to install your own VM. You don't need to worry about licensing. It's part of the OS. So it's a very, very useful tool.
Yeah.
It can be anyway. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
The Alan posted a few links. I'll check those and talk about them next week if they were of any interest.
Okay. All right. Well, it's that time.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day
Happy Father's Day.
to all the fathers there. And thanks, Gal, and thanks, Nick and Spence. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Arlette. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9. But you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, Nick hosts Against the Norm, his weekly show, at atnshow.com. And if you're in Wilmington, North Carolina, you can listen to it on Big Talker 106.7 FM. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.